pleasure of interviewing OPHELIA CHONG, a community activist, graphic designer, and photographer. She is a partner at the Bevel Group and the founder of Stockpot Images and Asian Americans for Cannabis Education. She is driven to help shape the new conversation of cannabis and is guided by one mission: to advocate for the legalization of cannabis and offer truthful reflections of the faces and communities that embrace cannabis. I'm so excited, OPHELIA, to have you with us today. Would you mind sharing with us your backstory?
Wow. After that introduction, I don't think I need to. Like, you did such a great job. Woo. It made me, I'm so flushing now. So, backstory, I started my career in photography. It was always about image making and creating images that tell stories. From there, creative director of film companies, film festivals, everything from Slam Dance for 10 years to Outfest, which is the largest lesbian gay film festival in the world, to then creating a website for Jennifer Aniston, publishing. So every career I had led up to where I am now, because it is basically putting a foundation on top of each other, and they just grow from there. So I'm sure everything you've done, you've taken those skills and moved it to the next, even though when you didn't think they applied, they do. So for now, where I am now in cannabis is Stockpot Images was founded 3.5 years ago, out of the same concern that you had too with your family member. One of mine uses cannabis to manage her autoimmune disease.
Okay.
And that's where my change from ignorance and stereotyping to being woke. I had the epiphany of what I was doing to the people in cannabis in the community by stereotyping them. Here is my sister, and I was doing the same thing. And so Stockpot was created out of ignorance because I needed to educate myself. And from that, I was able to educate other people as well. So that's where it began.
No, great. Thank you for sharing that. Can you share the funniest or most interesting story that happened to you since you started your company?
So many. Okay. So when I started Stockpot, I am still 13 and a half years sober from alcohol. So I had to gently enter into the cannabis space by taking edibles and then learning how to roll a joint. But also, there are two funny stories. One was I got seeds from people, and I grew about 23 plants. And so I was growing these plants, and I asked somebody, what are these things happening in my plants? They look like Christmas decorations. They said, OPHELIA, that's a male plant. You got to kill that. A male plant? So I go through my Encyclopedia Cannabis with Jorge Cervantes. Male plant! Red alert, Will Robinson! Red alert! Kill! Because you have a male plant and you get females, basically all your females get popped and turned into seeds. So sometimes if you get flower that has seeds in it, basically that grower had a male plant in there somewhere. So I ripped up that male plant, ran with it into the trash can and said, die! I killed the dude. So that was my entry into learning how to grow. The second one is probably more in tune with a lot of your listeners who first tried edibles, okay? Because I don't even like the word edibles because infused cannabis food items, their medicine is not food. Because when we look at food, when we look at a bag of chips, we're going to eat the whole thing. Right? But if you are getting a bag of chips that's 50 milligrams, you're going, well, I can only take 10, so what do? You take 5 chips, right? So we've marketed it as food, but is not. Just like if I gave you a bar of chocolate X-Lax, girl, you're not eating the whole bar.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what's going to happen. So the same thing with edibles is you don't eat the whole bar. What I did as a newbie was I ate too much of a bar. And I was in the toilet at 3 o'clock in the morning, no pants on, pooping out of one side, throwing up out of the other, and going, oh my God, stop. And
my husband has a similar story, the same kind of thing. He didn't know. He ate the whole thing. He was like, it tasted so good. I was hungry.
No. So I rolled over while I was on the toilet, of course, and then my ass goes up in the air, my head goes down, and I hit the other side. I thought, oh my God. And I was like, blood. So at that moment, I thought, I am not dying like Elvis, right? On the toilet. So I crawled back to my bed and just laid there, and I thought, my obituary is not OPHELIA CHONG ate too much of an edible. That would be, I would come back and haunt everybody who put that up on social media, because that's not how I want to go. Right. So those are my two newbie stories about being in cannabis, and I'm sure you have yours too.
Well, ours didn't end. So he ended up going in an ambulance to the hospital and got made fun of, because they're like, look at this newbie, right? Because he thought the world was ending. He's like, he would touch something, and then it felt like 10 seconds later before he actually felt what he was initially touching, because his senses were just so out of whack. And I didn't know what was happening, because we were both so new. And he was like, I was just hungry, and I just started eating it, and I forgot that it was cannabis, and then the rest is history. But it's a fun, teachable moment. Felicia likes to use it a lot when she talks to people, because, the lesson, pay attention to dosing.
It's not a food, right?
It's not a food.
We market it as food, and that has to change.
Absolutely. So definitely understand that, and thank you for sharing. What do you think makes your company stand out, and can you share a story about that?
For Stockpot Images, how it stands out is that we present the most diverse images of our cannabis community. Everything LGBTQ, cultures, ethnic groups, ages. And so what stands out from that is that when I started Stockpot, before I even started, I went to a competitor, right, and looked at the way they keyworded images, right? Because I just put in marijuana, pot user. And what came up was, people of color had keywords that said addict, addiction, drug user, convict, illegal, right? And this is in 2015. It still exists today, because I can go back to the same images and screen cap those same keywords. And I thought, this is $1 billion company. And yet buried deep in their billion images is racism. And they're not called out on it. So the flip side is that I don't do that at Stockpot, because that is wrong. And so my keywording is how I'm using it for the cannabis community. For Bevel, which came out of Stockpot, I partnered with 2 other people to create a marketing and branding company that also sources, manufactures, and distributes. We came together, we were at another company, we all left, and we created this. We're still new in the business, we're about a month old, but we have about 15 clients right now already, just in the last 3.5 weeks. So, any funny stories yet? Not yet. What did you do to the client? We have no funny stories yet. Everything right now, we're okay. I haven't lost anyone in the field of weed yet, or had to pick up a client off the floor. So nothing. Hopefully, I will have something funny soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, none of us are able to achieve success without some help along the way. Is there someone that really helped you to achieve the success that you've been able to achieve?
My mother. My mom. We were raised in a one-income home where my dad was a civil servant. And so as civil servants go in Canada, you don't get paid much. You get a lot of benefits. So my mother basically raised us on $10 a week that my dad would give her. And after a while, she said, I had enough of this. This is no. She said no. So she went out and actually created her own businesses to support the family and bring in more income. And within about 10 years, she became the first developer in China to build a hotel and buildings. She partnered with another person who needed her to guide him through China because she was going back and forth already for at least 10 years. And so it was a yin-yang relationship where he had the money and the know-how, and she could guide him through. And so my mother was she is my mentor and muse. And when I told her about this idea, she said, "That's great. That's amazing." And now every week, because they're in their 80s, I get these newspaper clippings from the big paper pin and say, "I saw this in a paper today. You should read this." And so I get these missives from her. And so my mother is my biggest supporter and also the one I look to who just struggled and climbed her way out and all the things that she went through to get to where she is. And so that is my touchstone right there.
No, that's great. I mean, and when the encouragement can be so close, that's even better, you know, that that it is your mom. That's wonderful.
And also in cannabis too, we clone off the mother, right? The mother plant. And so I feel that I'm a clone off my mother plant.
Love that. Love that. Absolutely. Are you working on any exciting projects right now?
Yes, there are quite a few. We are taking on one of the companies that created the first non-leaking cartridge, which is a great thing in cannabis because in cannabis you cannot return defective material back to the manufacturer, nor can you get a refund. So the retailer basically eats up the cost, including the taxes on anything that's returned. So if you have a high return on leaky cartridges, you don't want to carry that brand. So now we are marketing a brand out of Washington that has the practically leak-proof cartridges that also can carry live resin. So that is a great, easy promotion to retailers, right? To manufacturers that say, well, we have this brand and it won't leak. So retailers down the line will say, we want that one because we're not going to leak. So that's one of the clients. Other ones are a lot of female-based clients as well. Iron Angel, which is based on a woman cultivator. She's in her 60s, went up, down, all these careers, been hit hard, pulled herself up. And Iron Angel is the name of her farm. So we're going to create a brand around her that she's also rides motorcycles.
Awesome.
I see her as the mom and Sons of Anarchy. Although she's not about to stab anyone with a barbecue fork. She's very nice. So her brand will appeal to men and women. Men who love women, men who respect women, and women who want to be her or like her. So it is not a female-based brand. I'm not marketing it that way. I'm marketing it as a brand for people who just love strong women.
Yeah, love that. How have you used your success to bring goodness to the world?
I do a lot of pro bono work and also to make sure clients have a community outreach part of their plan. And so with a couple of clients now, we're doing a lot of community outreach to local schools and providing teachers with art supplies. And also there's a big issue on Skid Row where the women cannot afford even the basics that you and I take for granted, tampons and sanitary napkins, toothbrushes. So we had a campaign last year where we handed out quite a lot of them because it's something that happens to us every month. It's not something we can put off, like a dental appointment or something else. So every month they have to come up with $10, right, just to get through that week, which is very hard in Skid Row. And so what we do is that's part of also outreach too, and also LGBTQ and seniors. So I make sure that our clients have some sort of a community outreach portion of their marketing.
Love that. And I think it's so important. You know, it's something that I think gets lost so much, but you know, you have to help. You have to always look back and you have to always look to help. And I mean, I think that's a phenomenal cause for sure. Do you have a favorite book that has made a deep impact on your life and why?
Oh, okay. All the books I liked were tragic. There's one, Madame Bovary by Flaubert, and it's about a woman in the early 1900s in a little small French town, and she marries a man because she has to. She has no prospects. Back then, you just married somebody. And she married someone who's very stable and reliable, but fell in love with a rascal, you know, the dashing count. But And so she tried to manage both of those together. At the end, she committed suicide because her whole life was collapsing around her. And to me, that book is about a woman who wanted to have a choice to how she lived her life, but she was not because the society kept her into that. And so that affected me because I read that when I was about 13 about having choices and never to lock yourself into something, because once you do, you cannot walk away from it.
Right.
That was one of my favorite books. And another one was Ethan Frome, again, about a tragic love relationship that if they had a choice and if society allowed them to have a choice, they could have been together. So the books that affected me most is about choice.
Okay.
Having opportunities, and these women didn't. So that is what set me on my life, is giving people a choice.
No, that's extremely powerful. I love that, giving people a choice and the importance of choice. You've likely heard the famous cliche that the gold rush is the one who actually makes the most is the one selling the shovels more than the one that finds the gold. Some would say that the cannabis industry is the modern green rush, right? Can you recommend to our readers 5 technologies or services that could potentially be lucrative shovels for the cannabis industry? If you have examples, that would be great as well.
One of the great ones is Headset. Headset.io, I believe, and it is analytics for the industry. It's real time. They're based out in Washington. They're created by the Leafly Gods. So what it is that it tells you exactly what's happening in each market. So if you're trying as a marketing or investor, you can go see this city right here is selling these many vapes. How many vapes are they selling? Where are they selling to? And it drills down to segments. And also it drills down to how much a bud tender is selling as opposed to another bud tender in that same business. It is predictive. It's a really great way if you're going to be investing or you are in the industry, where the market is going for each of those states. And now it's in California. I think it's one of the better ancillary services if you're going to invest. Another one, ancillary, again, is where you're not touching the plant, is investing in companies that create innovative products. Just like I spoke before of the cartridge company, right? Is creating a leak-proof cartridge that, again, doesn't leak. And they're called Approved Vapor. They're out in Colorado. The other ones that I'll be looking at is hopefully soon banking. Right? I would always suggest looking at industries that can't touch it now and be ready. Because when I created Stockpot, there was nobody in that space. And I'm still the only cannabis stock photography agency in the world, and we're partnered with Adobe. So there was that need in that small section that everyone overlooked, stock photography. So when I started, there wasn't a need yet because everyone was still underground and taking images off of Google. But now that everyone's being legit and have investors to speak to, they're now licensing more images. But it took me 3.5 years to get here. So what it is be patient and be ready to sit down for a couple of years before you see any traction.
No, I think that is really helpful advice. And what 3 things would you advise to someone who wants to emulate your career?
I would, even before you step into it and think, I got a vape idea or I got a great idea for pre-rolls, I would grow a plant, just like I did. Get a couple seeds from somebody, grow that plant, learn the process of that beautiful plant, learn how she grows, harvest, cure it, and trim it. Because then you basically learn the heart and soul of the industry. Because same thing, if you're a car salesman, you're going to drive your cars around and know every part of it, all the options, every level, from luxury to economy. And that's how you're going to sell it. Same thing with cannabis. You cannot sell or be in this space unless you understand that plant first. But you want to be a tomato farmer? Grow a tomato plant. You want to be in cannabis? Grow a plant.
I think that is such a strong statement that you really have to understand what you're being a part of, whether you're ancillary or not. It's important to just understand the foundation of what has allowed this industry to thrive. So I 100% agree.
You probably heard it too. in this space is someone will come up to say, I smoke weed. I'm going to get into this business. I smoke a car. Do you think I can make one?
I know, right? Exactly. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
I know. It's
really. Does she have a thesis or a theme behind that? No.
I'm like, where's your passion lie? What is your skill set? Not just like, and not your use, but more, what are you really good at? I know, exactly. It's very funny. What advice would you give to other CEOs or founders that can help their employees thrive, especially in this space?
Have a sense of humor. And also, it is all-encompassing. It is 24/7 because even when I have my downtime, I'm reading regulations. Because everything is different for every state. Selling Coca-Cola is the same in every state. Selling tobacco, selling wine, more or less, is probably the same in every state, except for some states that are dry, right? But for cannabis, in every state, the regulations are different. So I would suggest if you want to expand, at least get things sent to you. Do a Google alert. That's what I love. I do Google alerts, and I put cannabis, or I put cannabis regulations. So things come into my feed every day. So I thought, okay, I got to read this one. I have to read this one. That is what I would do in the space for entrepreneurs: is read as much as you can, and also be nice. Have a sense of humor, read, and be nice, because karma works really fast in this industry. And once you step out of line, it goes like wildfire, because the community, when we think it's very large, it's actually very small. Mm-hmm. So each state, each group shares their information. And if you're not a good person, people will know very quickly.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Some of the biggest names in business, VC funding, sports, and entertainment read this column. Is there a person in the world or in the U.S. that you would love to have a private breakfast or lunch with, and why? Because they just might be listening.
I would like to have lunch with Ruth Ginsburg and Michelle Obama. Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be great.
If I have a +1, I'll bring you.
I'll come. I'll be right there.
They're two women that I respect highly, and I don't pick another. It's not an entrepreneur that I want to meet. It's women that I've just respected all the way through, and how they got to where they are. And just listening to them you just learn so much. And having 2 minutes with them, I would be like this, and forever my life would it would change my life, because then I'm able to take those words and help other people.
No, absolutely. They would be two phenomenal women to meet for sure. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us and share your pearls. They were really just life-changing for so many that I know are looking to get into this industry. And I think, they really need to listen to what you said, especially about truly understanding it. It's not just because you drive a car, you should build one. I think that, it's really about having a true understanding of the plant before you decide if this is somewhere that, an industry that you'd like to embark on. But if our listeners want to get in contact with your company and get access to your imagery, can you share how they can find you?
Stockpotimages.com, AsianAmericans4Cannabis.org, and bevelgroup.com. And the last thing I'm going to say about cannabis is this is how you should think about it. The cannabis industry is like a mullet. Business in the front and party in the back. You can sort of understand, encapsulate that, then it's an amazing industry to go into, because we're up here, and then later it's like, let's go smoke one after.
Exactly. It's a fun industry to be a part of. So thank you so much for your time.
Cool.
Bye.